These are good days. Everything is going good with everything 'cause these are good days. Going good with everything's going good with
That's on camera.
These are good days. Everything is going good with everything 'cause these are good days. Good days.
Welcome to These Are Good Days with Lee Ann Miller.
And Matt Barris.
Well, Matt, the wedding has come and gone.
That's right.
The wedding's come and gone. We're going to talk about it next week. When your children get married, there is all kinds of emotions.
It's hubbub. It's like hubbub.
It's all kinds of emotions. It's like popcorn emotions.
So much going on.
It's like crying, excitement, laughing, happiness, grief. It's all piled into one, and it's all very beautiful.
Yeah. We'll unpack it next week.
Yes. What's your good day?
My good day is, we kind of talked about it last week, but I want to talk about a different part of it.
Okay.
My sister recently was here for a while, for like a week. Her and her two boys came
for
up.
a week.
Her husband stayed at work because
Yes.
somebody got to work.
Somebody got to bring home the bacon.
He stayed back in South Carolina, but she came up from South Carolina. And, you know, my sister, what I love about my sister is she has always been a idea thinking, trying stuff person. And she currently, you know, she makes earrings, which is a cool thing.
And she makes really detailed, cool ones.
She does. She makes cool ones. And she also is doing like a booth, like at an antique place. And she comes to Ohio and she collects stuff. And then she'll take it to South Carolina and put it in her booth. It's a very common thing to do. She is having so much fun with it.
That's
and, you know,
awesome.
I'm also benefiting from it myself.
Okay. How is
Let
that?
me tell you what she found me.
What did she find you?
Today,
Okay.
on the day of this recording,
Okay.
in the year of our Lord,
Oh, yeah. What?
she found me a salt and pepper shaker set.
Okay.
From Disneyland in 1955 that had the castle on one and Tinkerbell on the other
Of course, had the castle.
for $1.99. And right now on eBay, it's going for $250.
What are you going to keep it or are you going to sell it?
I'm keeping that. You're going to pry that from my cold dead hands. I'm keeping that. Are you crazy? I'll put it in the will to you, but I'm keeping that.
No, don't give it to me.
I know you won't appreciate
no,
it. You'll probably break
give it
it.
to Disney Danielle.
Okay.
Give it to her, or just Maggie.
We'll figure out which kid of mine wants to keep stuff.
Yeah.
So that was my good day, was them being here.
Okay. You know,
We went to my mom's like every night and hung out. We had a little campfire.
Yes.
My mom made their favorite foods like chicken
Of course she
paprikash
did,
and breaded
yes.
pork.
she shared the chicken paprikash with me, and I just divvied it out.
So good.
I just was like real careful with how
know,
much
you
I
have to
ate
be
of it
careful.
because I just wanted to eat it all in one setting. I was
know.
like, no, it's too precious.
I know.
It was
I know.
So good.
All right, what was yours besides
Well,
the wedding?
You know, the wedding, of course, the wedding, that goes without saying. And then also my childhood girlfriend stayed in town because we do that after each of our kids' weddings. We just go somewhere and we decided to do Amish country. And, you know, there's just nothing like old friends.
I know. Ben Rector.
Ben Rector, if you are listening.
I hope Ben Rector's. I think we could be Ben Rector's vibe.
Yeah, we could be friends.
Yeah, because he's not crazy.
Yes.
He's not out there doing
I
stuff.
love his music
He
so
probably
much.
doesn't smoke.
Well, he might have tried it.
I don't think so. Ben, will you DM me? We want to know, Ben, did you try cigarettes or not? We won't tell
Listen,
anybody.
Ben, and it's okay if you did and you thought it was a little bit fun.
And
It's
Ben,
okay.
it's okay if you didn't and you're okay with it too. It's okay. Either way.
Oh, I love his music.
I do too. It's so fun.
Mm-hmm. Now what?
Well, first of all, if you weren't with us last week, we are sitting in a new set.
Yes, a new studio.
A new studio. It's still in my basement.
Yes.
But one of our favorite stores, Frentique and the Nest.
Yeah, but you talk about your basement like it's a basement. Your basement is...
No, it wasn't like, I want to suck your blood. I'm a
Yeah,
basement.
your basement
It's not
is like
that.
a renovated, beautiful space. Like your
Yeah.
basement's beautiful.
But it's still a basement.
Yeah, but it's beautiful.
Yeah, but it's a beautiful basement.
It is.
Yeah.
It really is. I can't remember the guy that did the renovation, but he did a great
It's
job.
wonderful. It's so good.
Yeah. Yes, the Nest.
But they put together our studio for us.
Yes, love it.
And it's just so cozy,
Yes.
and it's new and it's exciting and it's
Yes.
different for us.
Yes.
And so we're trying new stuff.
Yeah, we are.
Even at year 3.
Listen, we're not afraid to do new things.
Well, you aren't, but it takes me a while.
It takes you a second.
I got to catch up to you.
It takes you a second.
Well,
I dive in head first.
You do.
I
You
do. I
You
do.
dive in.
But, as you said, I don't do anything I don't want to do.
Yeah, you don't. And I love
You're
that
gonna
for you.
You're going to give me a bad reputation.
Well,
Listen, if I say yes with true intention.
I know.
Like, if you get a yes out of me, it's because I've thought about it, and I've thought
Are we
about
doing
the
a
fact
part two?
that I've thought about
you
the fact
okay?
of leaving my home.
It's
So,
true. It's true. Here's my question before we jump into our
Okay.
topic. What does home look like for you right now? Like, what are you watching? What are you doing?
Oh,
I know you finished that one show, the Jeremiah was a bullfrog
Oh yeah,
thing.
no, it's Jeremiah and Conrad,
Yeah.
and Connie and Belly. It was The Summer I Turned Pretty. Yes, loved the show, watched it all. There is a new series out called Rainmaker, and that has been so good.
What's
I
the
love it.
premise?
And I think it's based off of a John Grisham novel, but
Okay.
it's called Rainmaker. It's about attorneys, and it's the underdog attorneys taking on the Goliath attorneys
Okay.
in cases that are like, full of like dishonesty and intrigue and drama and
Great.
like dishonesty. It's like the good guys trying to bring the truth to the surface. It's so good. It's so good. It's called Rainmaker.
What's it on?
Well, Peacock.
Okay. I don't
Well,
watch
Peacock.
don't
You can
have any
stream it.
shows.
You can stream it on Peacock, but it was airing on USA.
Okay.
The USA Network. You don't have shows because you're too busy watching Murder, She Wrote.
Not anymore. I would love to. Did you know they're bringing back Murder, She Wrote?
Yes.
Did you hear
Yes.
about that?
Isn't it Kathy Bates that plays the?
No,
the-
that's Matlock.
Oh, Matlock. Who is it that
Jamie
plays-
Lee Curtis.
Oh yeah, that's
Jamie
gonna
Lee
be
Curtis is
really
gonna
good.
play.
That's gonna be.
I can't remember her
really
name. It's
good.
Angela Lansbury.
Yes,
Someone on the other end of this podcast is screaming her,
her name. Yes, the lady on Murder, She Wrote.
her
I don't
character name. But I
know. You're
will.
probably watching the Waltons
Me?
and Little House on the Prairie
No, that's
too.
you. You love Little House on the Prairie, and I don't understand it. I don't understand. Can you explain why do you love?
Well, Laura Ingalls, she was just a survivor. And then
I
Nellie,
actually might
then-
die.
and then Nellie Olson, she was the vixen. She was naughty. She was the naughty girl.
Okay.
And all Laura Ingalls wanted to do was just grow up and make a difference.
How? What
I
a
don't
difference?
know, in
in
her
what?
little western town.
Well, maybe I need to give it a chance.
And she was just always faced with dilemma,
Okay.
with always dilemmas, and she was always just trying to make the right choice.
Well, listen.
And Pa and Ma Ingalls, they were always guiding her to make the right
What
choice.
is the actor's Michael Landon?
Yes.
Do you want to know? I read something recently. I don't know if this is true.
Oh, that he blew up the town?
Yes.
Yeah, that's very true.
In the last episode,
Mm-hmm.
he blew up the town. Was it part of the storyline?
No, they made it part of the storyline, but
Yeah.
he blew it up because he didn't want anybody else to do a
commercialize
show
it.
there, commercialize it. But I just think that's sad. They really should have left it and let people tour it and paid tickets, because that would have been something later.
You
on.
would have gone to.
I probably would have. I mean, I probably would have do that before Disney.
Why do you want to hurt me?
It's true.
Why do you want to hurt me?
It's true, but it's true.
Well, and if she
Laura
wants to do
Ingalls-
it, she'll
Laura
do it. But if
Ingalls
she don't,
Wilder.
all right. Well, hey, today I don't know.
I love her.
Today we're going to talk a little bit about why counseling.
Almanzo, that's who she fell in love
Okay.
with.
Alfonso.
Almanzo.
Okay.
Okay.
You want to camp
Alonzo.
out here?
Almanzo, and then Nellie, Nellie fell in love too, and that really helped her soften a little.
Okay.
Yeah, I actually can't remember Laura Ingalls' brother's name or the little sister's name either, but Mary was her older sister's name. Mary, that's such a good name for for a family that's settling out west.
I'm just gonna let you go.
Yeah,
until
that's
you-
it. That's
are you
all.
done?
Yeah,
Okay.
I'm done.
All right. Hey, well, today we want to talk a little bit about counseling and how it
Yes,
has
therapy.
helped us
Yes.
and how it can help anyone, really.
Yes. Yes.
So why don't you start with your story of how counseling has affected you and why it's so important to you?
I think that this topic came up because we do talk about counseling a lot.
We do.
We do suggest counseling a lot. We do encourage people to talk to a therapist or talk to someone, a clinician, somebody that's clinically trained and has made it their profession. I
Sure.
think that's important. I don't think talking to a friend who is like a counselor or talking to a friend who
Totally
took
agree.
psychology 1 and 2 and counseling 1 and 2 in college does not make them a counselor.
Right.
And I would say, for me, and I told you this earlier, that before we started this podcast, that I feel like when we talk about counseling, we say to do it, and we say it's important. But I think when we make it personal and we share our personal perspective of counseling, I think that it's helpful to understand why we promote it so much.
Totally.
I mean, counseling truly, without sounding too dramatic, it's really true that it changed my life.
Right.
Counseling changed my life. I was in counseling for 10 years. Now, the last probably 4 years I was in counseling, I went maybe once every 2 or 3 months. But that was after my counselor basically released me and said, you don't need to come here anymore. And I said, oh yeah, I'm not going to stop coming here until you retire.
Right.
And that is literally when I stopped going, was when she told me she was retiring, and she
Right.
retired.
Right.
And even then I met her for coffee once every 6 months, because here's the thing. We can control ourselves and we can get help for ourselves, but we can't control other people around us that we may be put in situations to interact with or not interact with.
Right.
So I have always felt like I wanted that support, and I wanted that presence in my life. Now that she is retired, I actually am pursuing going to someone else, because I just think it's important, in order just to keep all my cards just shuffled in the right order,
Totally.
and to keep my headspace and my emotions in the right place. And listen, we're going to come up against things that aren't healthy, whether that's
Absolutely.
at work, whether that's in friendship, whether that's at church, whether that's in our marriage or with our kids. And to have someone that you can consult with is so important. For me, counseling came really, I say this and it sounds weird to say it, but it's true. It was really almost like forced upon me.
Mm-hmm.
It was really at a place where I felt at a loss, like I didn't know what else to do. And I always played a role in my family, that I felt like I had my family. I felt like I knew what they needed. I had them figured out. I was the person who kind of would try to make peace, or try to be the personality that would bring humor and would
Right.
settle things down, or would be a go-between, not realizing that I was also part of the problem.
Sure.
See,
Sure.
I went to counseling. Really, we were in a situation with our family that was very volatile, very emotional, very dysfunctional, and it was actually my brother who said, "You all need to get into counseling, or you may not have a relationship anymore." And he was talking to me and other family members. And so I said, I'll have a counseling appointment by the end of the week.
Yeah.
So I made that appointment, and I went every week for a while. Then I went every other week. Then I went every month. And I really thought I was going to counseling to learn how to handle everybody else, because they were the problem.
Yeah. That's
You know,
good.
everybody else was the problem.
That's
Of
good.
course,
Yeah.
I was not part of the problem,
Right.
but I was part of the problem.
Right.
But I think part of the beauty of counseling and building a relationship with a counselor that's really trusted and really well trained, really knows their craft, is that you build this relationship of trust to where that counselor can look at you and say, here are some changes you need to make, Leanne.
Right.
Here
Right.
are some things that are not serving you well or the relationships well, and these are the things you need to change. And then you have such trust and you have such respect for your counselor that you say, okay, You know, okay, I'll do that. Now, there are a few things that in counseling I can go back and I can think of them, and I can remember myself saying to the counselor, like, you don't understand what you're asking me to do.
Right.
Like,
right,
what
right,
you're
right.
asking me to do is never going to work. And she's
Yeah.
like, oh, I understand exactly what I'm asking you to do. And it's
Yeah.
going to be hard and it's not going to go over well. Because listen, we all want to talk about boundaries, like kind of like they're romantic. Boundaries are not fun. They're not romantic. They're not easy.
Right.
They're hard on the person that's putting them in place, but they're really hard on the person that you're putting the boundary up with,
Right.
because that person is not going to like it, and
And
they're
you're kind of flipping the script on them.
well.
They're
I
used to
mean,
you being a certain way,
yes,
and now you're changing.
right? And also it's very easy for that person to say like, well, what you're doing is wrong. Like, you're actually wrong. Like, what this is wrong.
Right. Right.
Like,
right.
you're this and this, or you know, it's literally like sometimes I think what a boundary does is the person you put it in place with, it causes a reaction that it almost feels like an attack to you. But really what it is it's you just protecting yourself, protecting that relationship, protecting the integrity of the relationship if you want to
Right.
have one.
Right.
And then if people don't want to respect the boundary, or they don't want to acknowledge the boundary, then they're pretty much telling you that that your relationship is coming to an end, or it's totally changing.
Yeah, totally. I think it's really hard for the people around you sometimes when you start working to get healthy, because
Yes.
you are truly changing and you're truly evolving, and depending on what it is you're trying to do, and the relationships that you're in, you are truly flipping the script. Let's use a marriage, for example. If you have a pattern in your marriage where you do this and he does this, and this is just kind of how it is, and you go, well, maybe what I'm doing isn't great
Right.
for me, or
So maybe
for
I
us,
need
or
to
our
change
family,
it.
and maybe I need to change it. And then in the people around you, maybe it's your husband or your children, they go, wait a second, you've always done it like this. This is how it's always been. What are you doing? I get it. I think it
Right.
can be hard on people. And I think it can be really hard on the receiving end of those boundaries or those changes for the
For
people around you.
sure.
And I think that's where it can be really volatile too, is people aren't used to it.
Well, and also I think when you enter into counseling, especially if you're having trouble in relationships, like for me, I was just at a place with my relationships. I just felt like at a loss. I felt like it felt like just such a fight, and it felt like things were getting worse instead of getting better. And listen, when I started in counseling, it didn't get better right away.
Right.
I mean,
right.
it didn't necessarily mend the relationship. Some relationships are estranged
Right.
right now
Right.
as I speak. And you know what? I've come to peace with that, because our life is full and happy and peaceful.
Right.
And the trade-off for me is just not worth it. It's
Right.
not worth it. And counseling, I think another thing that I didn't fully realize when I was going to counseling and when I started, that counseling really at the end of the day is for a better you. You know,
Totally.
if you find yourself, and I would call it cycling, if you find yourself cycling in the same patterns, in the same ways, with the same people, on the same topics, with the same fights, with the same disagreements, with the same conflict, then it is time to go get some help to help you change the course of the way things are going, because those things just don't, Matt, that's another thing now that I see so clearly that I didn't see before I went to counseling, is those things don't just self-correct on their own. Like, you just don't wake up one day and all that goes away and all of it's better. It just doesn't happen that way.
Yeah.
Now, maybe for one out of every 10,000 people, it might happen that way for, but it doesn't happen that way.
Yeah.
You know, you need the guidance and the help. And I needed a safe place to talk about all of it with someone,
Right.
you know,
right, right.
instead of just talking about it all the time with my friends.
With your friends.
My
Yeah.
listen, your friends play a crucial role in loving you and walking alongside you, but they are not professional counselors.
Sure.
They are not clinicians. They are not clinical counselors. Before I went to a counselor, there were probably 3 friends that I was telling things to. And let me tell you, all 3 of those friends were telling me 3 different things.
Yeah.
And what a way to confuse a situation.
Right. Right.
And how well-meaning of those friends, but how unhealthy for me.
Yeah.
Because
totally.
who do I listen to? What, what do I do?
They're
What
saying
do I
be aggressive.
do?
They're saying be
do
passive.
I rub a genie bottle to see who's right? And when you go to someone who's trained in their field and trained in this is what they do for a living. They've studied psychology. They've studied counseling. They've studied family dynamics. They can say, okay, this is what's happening and this is what you need to do.
Right. Right. I think for me, when I started down my counseling journey, it was a few years after my dad had passed away and I had 2 kids at home. I think maybe it was 5 years after he passed away.
Why did you wait so long?
Because, well, what brought me to it was, truthfully, I was struggling with depression. So I would say...
Did you connect that to your dad's death at all?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. But I think what it was for me was with me and Mallory saying, like, she's like, okay, every couple months you kind of get in this funk. And I feel like I'm losing you in your thoughts. And I feel like you're withdrawn and then I would pop out of it and I would be like, oh, I feel good for a while, but then I would eventually go back to it. And so I think for me, what I did was I found the counselor that saw my dad.
And you went to her a couple times after your dad's death, though, didn't you?
No, just once.
2 or 3 times, just once? Okay.
Yeah, just once. And I found her and I said, hey, I want to work on some things connected to my dad, connected to my childhood, connected to myself as a father. And I think what was helpful for me when I went and talked to her was, first of all, it was helpful to process life shifts with someone because there's so many moving pieces and parts in our life.
Right.
And so to process it with someone and get their perspective on it, that's kind of an objective perspective that her only bias is to what I've told her.
Yes, right.
So it's, she didn't have like a
ulterior motive or
like what's she going to get out of it.
Nothing selfish about what she would tell you or think. And also, I think the part of the clinical part is they're telling you based on what they've studied about people and what they know about personalities. And that is so helpful.
Sure.
Instead of like, well, I've known him all his life.
Right.
And I think he should do this because this, and this. Well, sometimes you might need to do the opposite of that if you would talk to someone professional.
Right. I also think for me, when it came to relationships, I will never forget something she said. I was talking about relationships in my life and a particular relationship I was unhappy with that I was just like, oh, I wish it was different. I wish it was like how I envisioned things being.
Right.
And her response to me, I'll never forget it. It kind of caught me off guard. Is she said, well, what if it never changes? Like, what are you going to do if it never changes? And kind of put it back on me and this is, I think, the genius of counseling is it's really not about everybody else. It's about you.
Yeah.
If
counseling holds up a mirror to you.
So for her, she was saying, what if it never changes? What are you going to do about it? And how are you going to manage your expectations around that relationship? And how are you going to process it? Or what are you going to what perspective are you going to take in it? Because I think for me, and this is a me thing, is I have really big expectations of things and people and experiences, and I want it to be a certain way in my head, and oftentimes it's not, and then I get disappointed.
Right.
And so for me, it was her giving me
coping
skills to manage my expectations.
And it was taking the responsibility off of the other person, the 100% responsibility. Like, because sometimes what we want to do is we want to make it the other person's responsibility, and we don't want to take any of this responsibility for ourselves.
Totally.
And here's one thing that I will say that's I guess it's tied to that is counseling feels scary.
Totally.
Before you go, somehow we tell ourselves a story of what it's going to be like. And that counselor is going to make me feel wrong. They're going to
Right.
make me feel bad. They're going to make me feel like it's all my fault. That was not my experience
No.
at all. In fact, how I felt leaving every time I left that office, I felt leaving like, oh, that was exactly what I needed.
Yeah.
I
yeah.
needed someone to give me permission to feel upset about this. I
Right.
needed someone to give me permission to say no. I needed someone to tell me out loud, this is how you put a boundary in place and this is what you do to enforce it. Because I think that I probably had tried boundaries before counseling and before I even knew what the word was, but I had no real follow through because things would be cyclical. They would be good and then they would be bad again.
Right.
And then they would be good and then they would be bad again. And so then I started playing a role in that cycle.
Sure.
So when I stopped playing a role in that cycle, when I started saying things like the counselor would tell me to say, when I started saying things like, oh, you don't have permission to talk to me that way.
Right.
Like, you want to talk about overturning the apple cart.
Right.
Like, it was like, wait, what did you say? Well, you don't have permission to talk to me that way.
Sure.
Like, oh, that's coming from your fancy counselor, isn't it?
Right,
That's where
right,
you're
right.
learning how to talk like that. Well, you know what? You also don't have permission to insult my counselor or me any further.
Right.
And if you continue, I'm going to leave or I'm going to hang up the phone. And then when you put those type of boundaries in place, when you've been operating in a way that like they say this, then you do that, when you upset that and you stop that kind of interaction, that person is not going to like it.
No.
Like, I don't know why we tell ourselves
No.
sometimes that a boundary is something that's going to be a great thing for everyone. Well, it might be in a year, but the first few months are going to be rough.
Right. Not right off the bat.
And
that's for
they're
sure.
not going to feel loving. People do not feel loved when you put a boundary in place.
Sure. Part of my journey in counseling too was giving me strategies for reframing my thinking. So to say, like, when you come up to a situation, you know, this is one, this didn't come from my counselor, but this came from someone else that is in this realm, was when you come up against something and maybe you're believing a lie about something or you're feeling a certain way, is you say, what else could be true? What else could be true in
Yes.
this situation? It's little tips and tricks like that that a counselor can give to you to help reframe your thinking,
Right.
to help you think about things a different way, to help you process your emotions. Is this boring for you?
Oh, sorry. I had a yawn. I had a big yawn there. Sorry.
We're on camera now too.
It's okay. That's all right. I'm yawning on camera.
And I also think it gives you different strategies for embracing things in life as well.
Yeah.
So it gives you a strategy to say, how can I bring this into my life, or what do I need to put out? It helps you honestly create priority lists
Yeah.
to say what's important to you,
Yes.
to learn who you are.
What to say no to and what to say yes to.
Right. And I think too, it provides a safe, non-judgmental place for you to just process anything you want to process. What's really funny in my counseling journey was I am a firstborn. I am not type A. You say that I'm type A, but maybe I am compared to you, but I'm really not.
Oh, yes, you are. You've
I'm
got,
not.
look at your notes. Like, you've got major
If
notes.
you know someone that I work with, I know listens to this podcast, Heather Sanders, she is type A and she knows I'm not type A, but compared to you,
Well, maybe you're not type A compared to her.
I'm not.
Yeah.
She is type A.
Okay.
I am not. I'm
Is
really
there
not
something
type A.
above type A? Could she be type A plus?
Sure. We'll give her that.
And you're type A minus.
She could wear the brown crown. I think that what was I saying? We went off. It's a non-judgmental place to explore.
Yes.
Explore
Right.
yourself. When I started counseling, I actually went each session with notes where I was like, okay, this is the part of my story
right,
I want to
right,
talk about.
right.
This is the part of my current life I want to talk about, blah, 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 blah. And there was a moment where my counselor was like, when are you going to let me lead you? Like, when are you going to just trust the process
When are you
and
not going to
trust
bring
me?
notes anymore?
Like, you don't need to bring notes to counseling. If there are things that are hot
That's not
topics,
type A. I don't know what is.
if there's, well, I don't think it's type A. Of course, if there's things you want to hit, sure,
Right.
write it down.
Right.
But I had a plan. And she just gently was like, you don't have to have this planned out. You can trust me. I am the counselor in this situation.
Right.
I also think she helped me see myself differently. You know, I think sometimes for me in the stories that I've told myself, I just have a skewed perspective of who I am.
Yeah, it's good.
And
It's
to
true.
have someone else speak something into
Yeah.
you based off of
That
how
they
they've gotten to
see.
know
Yes,
you,
yes.
to say, no, you actually are powerful. You actually
Yes.
do. You are courageous
Yes.
when you did X, Y, and Z. You know, to have someone like that to speak those things into you is so helpful.
Yes, so helpful.
Because it helps you reframe yourself and how you think about yourself, and honestly, as you enter different seasons and different situations, to give you courage to keep moving forward.
Well, it's empowering.
Totally.
It's empowering, and it's helping you see the best in yourself.
Totally.
You know, one last thing I want to mention about counseling, and then you can give a parting shot. We can wrap. Is that one thing that I've noticed, and this is in myself too. This was a temptation. Is you get to a place where you think, I'm good.
Oh, totally.
You know, like, and Maureen used to tell me the first 2 years I went to counseling, where I was like, I think I got this. I think I'm good. And she would say, no, I think you need to make an appointment for for next month or for 3 weeks from now. Is that consistency? She used to say that it takes at least 1 year before you start really being able to enforce boundaries and to really start making behavioral changes.
Yeah.
She said that's being generous. She said she really thinks it's typically 2 years of consistent counseling where and listen, it is time and it is work. It is time and it is work. You've got to show up for those appointments. You've got to make the appointment.
Right.
And you have to, when you're feeling like, I think I'm good. I think I got this down. I've got this figured out now. Ask your counselor if you have it figured out yet.
Right.
Because they're the ones you should be asking, not yourself.
Right.
You know, you're the one
exactly.
there for help. And I think often I'll say to people, have you ever talked to somebody about this? Well, I had a counselor and I went to her for 3 or 4 times, or
Right.
I went to her for 2 months or 3 months. No, that's not long enough.
Yeah.
You need to be in counseling for a decent amount of time where you're like, okay, now I see it. Now I see it. I can talk about my family and myself now so differently than I would have talked about it the first year or 2 that I was in counseling.
Right. Well, here's my parting shot is if you've been on the fence about counseling, if you've been on the fence about processing life with someone, or if you're going through a season shift where you feel like you don't really know where to turn or what to do next, it doesn't even have to be that big. It can be something little that you're
Yes.
like bumping up against. Maybe it's a
Correct.
thought in your head.
Maybe it's even just some interpersonal just struggle with relationships with your kids because they're teenagers now.
Sure.
Or they're adults now. Or,
Yeah.
you know, it can be things like that.
Make the call and find a person. You know, if you need help with that, we know great people.
Yes, we do.
One of our friends, Emily, who's a counselor, we've referred people to her that she actually refers on to other people because
Yes.
she is connected to so many counselors that specialize in different things. She doesn't just take everyone
Right.
that is referred to her.
Yes.
She will find someone for you
Yes.
and knows people.
Would you put our three
Sure.
counselors that we love to refer people to in the show notes?
Sure.
It's Kat Galecta, Wilma Mast, and Emily Cadlick. We love
So-
all of them.
Our encouragement to you is to make the call. Make the call this week. Connect with someone
Make the
because
appointment. Just shoot
it's
the
not going
email.
to get.
Shoot
yeah.
the email out. Don't be afraid.
Yeah.
Listen, let me tell you something. Be more afraid of not doing it
Sure.
than doing it.
Sure.
You should be afraid of not doing it
Right.
instead of doing it. I don't know what fear it is that we wrap around going to a counselor. I don't know whether we're afraid of the change, we're afraid of what it might do. It is really, Daryl will tell you, my husband will say, it is the best money our family ever spent.
Right.
And it changed the dynamics of our family.
Right.
So it's worth it.
Right. Hey, let's talk about food.
What do you want to talk about?
No, what do you want to talk about?
Well, I think what I want to talk about is I want to talk about Walnut Creek Cheese and Market's kitchenwares side of the store.
Yeah.
There is a whole side of the retail space of Walnut Creek Cheese and Market in Walnut Creek, Ohio. Now, you can look up Walnut Creek Foods. You can go to the locator page. You can find out where there is Walnut Creek food products in your town. But if you ever come to Ohio's Amish country, you cannot miss going to Walnut Creek Cheese and Market in Walnut Creek. And what so many people don't realize, and we've had this every time we've done the live event. We've had people say they had no idea how big that place was.
Huge.
The kitchenware side of the store has everything you can imagine gadget wise. Like there's just every kind of gadget, and it's not just one type of the particular, like a garlic press.
Right.
There are 3 kinds of garlic presses.
Right.
You know, there are 3
You can find
kinds
anything
of
there.
potato
Yeah.
peelers. You can find anything in
Yeah.
the kitchenwares part of the store. And let me just tell you, if you can't find it, you can ask them, and they can either figure it out or find it for you or locate it or order it in.
Totally.
But I love how intentional that part of the store is. I love Peg Beachy and her team. They do a great job of just decking that side of the store out, that you can make going to Walnut Creek Cheese and Market an experience when you come to Ohio's Amish
And here's
country.
what I'll say too: for our first 100 people that sign up for Patreon, either as a friend or a family, we are sending them some goodies.
Yes.
From that side of Walnut Creek Cheese and Market.
we
We're
wanna-
not to 100 yet.
Yes.
But when we get there, it's coming out.
We want to remind you to go to the show notes
Yep.
and look for our link for our Patreon.
Yes, we would love for your
for you to
support.
join. And we would love to send you 2 of our favorite things from Walnut Creek Cheese and Market.
Hey, well, thanks so much for joining us in this conversation all about why counseling matters to us. You know, whether ordinary or extraordinary, we hope you see that these
Are good days. This episode brought to you by Walnut Creek Foods.